This lesson is adding zeros to the dividend. When there are not enough digits in the dividend to complete the division problem, you may add zeros to the end of the dividend so that your answer will not have a remainder. Adding zeros to the end of the dividend does not change the value of the dividend or the quotient. So let's look at some examples. In our first problem, 42.3 divided by 6. We'll go through our 5 steps of division as always. We'll estimate. We'll say 42 divided by 6. That would be 7. 7 times 6 is 42. We subtract. We get 0. We bring down our 3. 3 divided by 6, well, I can't do that. So what do I need to do? Well, first of all, I'm going to go ahead and put my decimal in my quotient. And I'm going to have to say 3 divided by 6. I can't do that, so we represent that with a 0 in our quotient. Now what we're going to do is add a 0 to our dividend, and we're going to bring that down. And now we have 30 divided by 6. The answer is 5. 5 times 6 is 30. And when we subtract, we get 0. By adding the 0, we've made our division problem come out with a complete answer with no remainders. Let's look at our next example, 72 divided by 30. We'll start off by dividing 72 by 30. That would be 2. We estimate because 2 times 3 is 6. That'll be close. So 2 times 0 is 0. 2 times 3 is 6. We subtract. 2 minus 0 is 2. 7 minus 6 is 1. 12 divided by 30, or 12 is smaller than 30, so we can move on. Now, because there are no numbers in the dividend, we might ordinarily give that a remainder, but we're not going to. We're going to add a decimal here and here, and we're going to add a 0 to our dividend. We're going to bring that 0 down, and now we have 120 divided by 30. That's 4. 4 times 0 is 0. 4 times 3 is 12. We can subtract and we get 0. So our answer is 2 4/10. Now we needed to add the decimal because we came to the end of our whole numbers, and by proceeding further in our number we are going into the decimals. Let's do some more practice. We have 49 divided by 14. Let's start by trying a 3 here. 3 times 4 is 12. We'll carry our 1. 3 times 1 is 3, plus 1 is 4. And we have 42. 9 minus 2 is 7. 7 is smaller than 14, so we may go on and see if we can finish this. Now again, we're going to add a decimal to both our dividend and our quotient, and we're going to add a 0 in our dividend. We're going to bring that down, and now we have 70. 70 divided by 14. Let's try a 5 there. 5 times 4 is 20. It gives me a 2 to carry. 5 times 1 is 5, plus 2 is 70. We subtract and we get 0. So our answer is 3 5/10. Let's do another problem. We have 30.5 divided by 25. Since there's a decimal already there, I'm going to put it in my quotient to start with, and let's start dividing. 30 divided by 25 would be 1. 1 times 25 is 25. We'll subtract. We get 5. We already have a 5 to bring down, so we'll bring it down. 55 divided by 25 would be 2. 2 times 5 is 10. Carry our 1. 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1. That's 50. We subtract and we get 5. Now, we've got no place to go. I'm going to actually extend my line here, put a 0, bring my 0 down, and now I have 50 divided by 25, which is 2. 5 times 2 is 10 with my 1. 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 50. And we've completed this problem. We've got a couple more problems to practice on. Let's do some more practice problems. Our next problem is 68 divided by 20. We'll start off by dividing by 3. 3 times 0 is 0. 3 times 2 is 6. That gives us 60. 8 minus 0 is 8. Now 8 is smaller than 20, but we have no place to go unless we add that 0. So we'll add a decimal and a decimal. We'll add a 0 to our dividend. We'll bring the 0 down, and now we have 80. 80 divided by 20 is 4. 4 times 0 is 0. 4 times 2 is 8. And we come up with a 0, and our answer is 3 4/10. Let's do our last problem. 65.1 divided by 30. We'll start off by dividing the 65 by 30. That'll be a 2. 2 times 0 is 0. 2 times 3 is 6. Let's subtract. 5 minus 0 is 5. Now I've got my decimal there. I'm going to put that up in the quotient. If you don't do it at the beginning, you can do it anytime. Just don't forget. I'm going to bring down the 1, and I have 51. 51 divided by 51 divided by 3 would be 1. I'm going to say 1 times 0 is 0, and 1 times 3 is 3. I subtract. I have 21 for an answer. Now I need to expand this problem by adding a 0, and I'll bring it down. I now have 210 divided by 30. The answer there is a 7. 7 times 0 is 0. 7 times 3 is 21. I subtract, and my answer is 0. So my answer to this problem is 2 17/100. That concludes the lesson on adding zeros to the dividend.